All right, Nick, let's talk about the Los Angeles Chargers' unfortunate loss in this playoff game. Quite frankly, as a Chargers fan, you got to think this was a very disappointing loss because by all accounts, in the first half of this game, you had it won. 27-0 lead at one point in time, 4 interceptions. It feels like everything was going the Chargers' way, and it was, but suddenly they lose steam, and that seemed to be happening a lot this season. There is a major issue with the offense being able to only score 3 points after that. Very disappointing. And the Chargers have to look within to figure out what the problem was, why this is going on. And we believe that the Chargers think they have found what the problem was and they're addressing it now. And we're going to get into that story here in just a moment, Nick. But the Chargers fans do have a lot to look forward to, and they have a lot to look back on as well. There have been a lot of great moments for the Chargers in the playoffs throughout histories, and that's why I want the Chargers fans to let us know in the comments below what has been your favorite playoff moment throughout history. There's got to be some good ones out there, so just let us know in the comments below. But Nick, what do you have on the Chargers fixing from this playoffs?
Yeah, so before I get to the story, I think for me, I look back at the '07 divisional game. You got Billy Volek subbing in for Phillip Rivers, who got hurt, and upsets Peyton Manning, kind of a shocking victory over the Colts, and obviously an exciting moment in Chargers history. But looking back to a moment in Chargers history that they hope will never have to relive is, of course, the loss in Jacksonville the other night. Disappointing, tough loss. And anytime you have any event of that proportion, that monumental, repercussions have to happen, heads have to roll, and it looks like the Chargers have decided exactly whose heads are going to roll. So this is according to the score.com. The Los Angeles Chargers have fired offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi and passing game coordinator slash quarterbacks coach Shane Day, the team announced Tuesday. Lombardi and Day had been with the team for the last 2 seasons. Jordan Schultz, the Scores NFL insider, also reported that the Chargers are strongly considering keeping Staley as their head coach. So it doesn't look like they're going to fire Brandon Staley. It looks like it's just going to be Lombardi and Day on the way out. And I know since seeing this report, there have been other reports backing this up. It looks like they're sticking with Staley, Lombardi, and Day on their way out. They're making a change. They decided the play caller, the passing game, the coordinator, that was the problem, the duality between Day and Lombardi there. Mize, what do you think the Chargers' decisions to go to a different coordinator, different quarterback coach, different play caller for the future? Do you think they got it right? I mean, what do you think they're doing here?
Yeah, Nick, they 100% have this move right. And whoever they pick going forward has got to be better than what they were dealing with, Nick. Because as we alluded to this playoff game, blowing big leads, losing close games, it just feels like the Chargers had an inability this season and for a few seasons now to not put games away. Okay? They couldn't put games away. And I think if you look at the stats, Nick, especially from this season, it's because they couldn't do the things that put games away. One of those things is having a solid rushing attack. The Chargers averaged just 89.6 yards per game this year. That's 30th in the NFL. Only 2 teams were worse than them. 3.8 yards per rush, which is also 30th in the NFL. Horrible. And they have a great running back in Eckler as well, so it should not be this abysmal. And then you look at the other side of things, not converting drives into touchdowns. They only converted 54% of their drives into touchdowns this season. That's 17th in the NFL. Middle of the pack, got to be a little bit higher than that. And then on goal to go, Nick, they were only able to score 65% of the time on goal to go. You're right there. You have to put that away. That's 23rd in the NFL, Nick. So I just think if you compile all of these stats and just look at the ineptness of the Chargers offense at times, these are the things you got to look at. And these are the things that if they improve on them, it will help them close out games.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up goal to go because to me, when I think of red zone, I think that's when you see how good a play caller really is. You see Andy Reid for the Chiefs; they have all kinds of great calls in the red zone, right? That's when you really learn how effective a play caller is because obviously the field gets more condensed. So that's a good evidence on your part there about why Lombardi was the problem. But I almost look at what they're doing just with Justin Herbert, right? You talk about the inability to convert drives into touchdowns. When you have a guy as good as Justin Herbert, and look, he's up there with Mahomes, he's up there with Josh Allen. He's that level of talent. He's that level of reading a defense. He's that mature. He checks every box, and then other boxes that people have never even seen before. He finds a way to check him. He can make every throw. Every game, he's making 3, 4, 5 big time, unbelievable throws. And yet, despite that, he's in the bottom third in the NFL in yards per passing attempt. That's one of my favorite statistics. To me, it shows how efficient a quarterback is completing big plays down the field and just generally in his day-to-day operation at the quarterback position. It should be scary high with a guy like Herbert with his ability to make big plays down the field. He should be up there with Allen and Mahomes and guys like that at the top of the yards per attempt list. But he's not. Like, what's going on? What's going on here? And then we look at average depth of target, right? That shows how far a quarterback's average throw was over the course of the season. Justin Herbert ranked 77th, Mize, in the NFL last season. That is directly ahead of Davis Webb, the quarterback, part-time quarterback for the Houston Texans, for the New York Giants. I'm sorry, he played for the Texans for a little bit while. He's just ahead of Matt Ryan, who got benched for the Colts, and Baker Mayfield, just ahead of Justin Herbert. So that's what he is. He's basically sandwiched between Matt Ryan and Baker Mayfield. Two guys who did not have good seasons last year at all, and yet their offensive coordinators in their situations essentially trusted them as much as Lombardi trusted Herbert. To me, that is inexcusable. You have a guy like Herbert, you have to unleash him. He has every physical tool, every mental tool you could possibly dream of. You cannot keep him caged up. You got to unleash him. I think moving off of Day, moving off of Lombardi is a sign that the Chargers effectively realized at least a major part of the problem, and I really think they're in a strong position to fix it this offseason.